Hey guys, what's up? Steve here, and I'm making this short video because over the last couple of days we've had a few people just comment and say they're really enjoying our podcast. If you're not sure what that means, we've just started a podcast. It's called Tribes for Home Business, and you can find us on Apple iTunes and amongst other places. But we've had a few people come on and just say the sound's really good, what you're using, the picture's really good. You know, what stuff are you using? What's your equipment? How can we get that equipment for ourselves, and just tell us what you're using. So you know what, I thought I'll just jump on a quick video and I will give you a rundown of exactly what we use and how I've got it set up, so that if you want to, you can get it set up for yourself and you can do your own podcast, because I know a few of you guys are actually at that point, you want to do your own podcast. So this is just a quick rundown of the equipment we use, where we film, the kind of stuff that we do just to put our stuff together. So I'm going to give you a little look around. This is in Sam's office. I'll give you a little scan of the room. Excuse my brilliant video skills there, putting my finger right over the camera. So this is where we pretty much do all of our work. This is the desk where we do all our kind of videoing, our podcasting, all that cool stuff. So if you see us live, if you see us doing any kind of broadcast, more often than not, that's generally where it's going on. Okay, so why did I pick the stuff that I picked to do the podcast? Well, one main reason, and I'll get into this, but if you can see out the window, I'll try and do my best to show you just outside the window. We live next to quite a noisy road. It can get a little loud at times out there. It's not that bad, but you can probably hear right now there are cars going by. And when I'm recording videos, that drives me crazy. So I wanted to get a setup that would really keep a lot of that noise out and stop that being a problem. Now, if you're in a quiet environment and that's not such a big deal, you can definitely get away with something like what I'm using to record this video, which is a Rode Smartlav Plus. You can see it there on my manly chest. So that's going to be perfectly adequate for most people. If you just want to do something quick, you can plug this straight into your phone and you're good to go, and you can just start recording your podcast or your videos. I would definitely recommend you getting one of these anyway for when you're out and about, because they're just really, really good at isolating a lot of the noise. If you're out in a busy place and you just want to be heard over all the noise, then they're great for that. They cost about 40 quid, 40 pounds. You can get them on Amazon. I guess that would translate to around $50 thereabouts. Again, Amazon.com. You'll be able to find them no problem. The Rode Smartlav Plus. What I'll try and do actually after I finish doing this video is I will try and put a link below to some of these products on Amazon so you can go and grab them. But anyway, what are we doing with our podcast? What do we do in order to record our podcast? Well, I've gone for a pretty, I would say it's a medium setup really. It's not that high end. I'm just going to give you a little glance at what we have here, and then I'm going to walk you through it. So the first thing I need to tell you is that we record everything on our iPhones, because somebody said, what do you use for video? Because the video is really clear. Literally, we use iPhones for pretty much all of it. Standard, 1080p resolution, 30 frames per second. And what we do is we have these lights behind us here. These are just softboxes. These are just like photographic softboxes that we use. We put those on whenever we're recording or doing any kind of training here. And that just gives us a nice even light without too much shadow, which is why we use those particular guys. They do get a bit warm though. Sometimes you find yourself getting really hot and flushed under those lights. So it's good to push them a bit further away from you, push them back a little bit. But they're really, really good for giving a nice even light. I hate those little ring lights. You get those round lights, the Diva lights, because although they give a really nice white light, what they do is they make your eyes reflect, and you've got these little halos in your eyes. Makes you look a little bit possessed. So I like the soft boxes personally. That's what we've gone for. So the kit that we've got, and I'll show you the microphones that we use. This is called a Rode Procaster. That's basically, I don't want to get too geeky and too nerdy on this. I am a bit of an audio nerd, or at least I do try to be a bit of an audio nerd. I'm not that crazy on it, but I do like a good sound. The reason I went for these particular microphones is they've got a very narrow field. In other words, they cut out a lot of the noise around you and they just really pick up what's right in front of them. Now, if you're like me and you're next to a busy road, they're going to be great because they'll take a lot of that noise and they'll isolate it out, so you're not hearing the cars go by, at least, hopefully not too much. And you'll just get that kind of DJ broadcaster type sound because they're quite pro. The downside to these mics is that they are very what's called gain hungry. In other words, the signal, the noise that they give out is going to be really quiet. They need a lot of power. They need kind of amplification to drive them. So if especially running two of them, just kind of plugging these straight into my laptop wouldn't really work because they would be really, really quiet. And I need a way to get what's known as an XLR cable, like this guy, which is the plug that these microphones use, which is like just a pro microphone connector, XLR. I need to get that into my laptop somehow because that's what I use to record all my audio. It all goes into the laptop. Okay, so what I've done is I went out and I got, excuse my hand, I got this. Now this on the top is what connects the signal to a USB, so I can plug it straight into my laptop, and that's called a Focusrite Scarlett 212. So the microphones go into this and then straight into my laptop. But first I've run it through this. Now this is a DBS 286S processor. And what that does is a couple of things. A, it allows me to boost the gain right up. So I can control the levels, I can get the sound up to a nice healthy level, so I'm getting really good recording levels when I'm actually recording our voices. And a good level to me is somewhere between -15 and -12 decibels. So when you're recording, you can see the level kind of peaking across on the sound meter. And if it's between sort of -15, -12, then you're all good. But also what that does is it has something in it called a noise gate. And what that means is that anything below a particular decibel level, like the traffic going past outside, if it's below a certain decibel level, it will just completely ignore it and it won't let that through the gate. But because our voice is going to be a lot louder, being much closer to the mic, it'll let our voice through. So it cuts out a lot of that background noise, a lot of that ambient noise, and you just get a really nice clean sound out of it, which is exactly why I use that particular rig. So I've got both the microphones going into that. I just use splitter cables. So each one goes in. It's only got one mic input, but I've literally just doubled them up and put them into the back of that, straight out into the laptop. Excuse me, my voice is going. On the laptop, I use a piece of software. Usually I will use something called Adobe Audition, which is, again, quite a high-end piece of software. I don't do nearly enough with it. I literally just record our voices, add a little bit of effect afterwards, just play around in the equalizer a little bit. I will normalize the sound, which means I'll take any peaks out so that it's kind of on one nice level, so there's no huge adjustments in volume. And, you know, I will just make it so that it's a nice flat sound all the way across, but you don't need to do that. There is another program called Audacity, which is, I would say, almost as good, and that's free. That's completely free. So if you are thinking of recording something on your laptop, Audacity is a great piece of software to go for. If you're on a Mac, then you'll probably have GarageBand installed on the Mac. That's a free software that comes with any sort of Apple machine. And again, that's really, really cool for recording your voice. You can just go lay down a voice track and that will be absolutely fine. Just export it as an MP3 and you're good to go. So the service that we use for the podcast, once we've got our audio file, we've recorded it, we've cleaned it up and we're happy with it, what we generally do then is we upload it to a service called Anchor.fm. And the reason I really like this service, one, it's free, right, which is always cool. Well, it's cool as long as it does a good job, right? Free is great as long as it does a good job. And Anchor actually does a really, really good job, because what Anchor will do is it will take your podcast and it will syndicate it across all the major platforms for you without you doing anything at all. So it will put it on iTunes, it will put it on Spotify, it will put it on a whole host of other platforms, and they kind of do that without you having to do anything. So all you need to do is upload your file. Usually it's an MP3 file. Put a bit of blurb in, write a little bit about your podcast, what it's about, who it's for. Create some graphics. So they like to see some art, you know, like an album, like a record. You know, you create the album art for it, upload that, submit, and you've got a podcast. Basically, that's it. You're ready to go. So that's what we use. That's pretty much all we use. You know, for little videos like this, we'll just plug in the little Smartlav, the little lavalier mics. But if we're doing like a proper recording, this is the kit that we use. We record everything on video using our iPhones, because why wouldn't you? They're so easy and they do such a great job. Yeah, that's it really. That's all we do. And we do one podcast every single week. When we launched, we did like one a day for the first week. Now we do one every week. But any recording like tutorials or any kind of higher end videos that we want to do, we'll definitely always use these microphones that we've got right here. So guys, that was it. There's like a little virtual tour just of our little podcast station, because we've had about 2 or 3 people asking us, you know, what do you use? It looks good. Can we get an idea of what you've got going on? That's it. Nice little impromptu video just to give you a little walk around and show you Sam's office and show you basically where it all happens and what she does and where she spends her time. So that's it from me. That's all I got. I hope this was useful. Share it out if it was. Give it, you know, if there's anyone you know that's thinking of starting a podcast and you think this could help them, by all means share this video and let them know. That's all I got. I'm going to see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.